Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? Now today's video is a little continuation from my last one where we dug a little bit more into the lore of Warframe following the new war and of course its revelations at the end of it, because that's the aspect of Warframe I'm enjoying the most right now, and its lore is so fragmented and open to interpretation, and up until now I've kind of mostly ignored it or just passingly looked at it, the main parts anyway. The new war definitely changed that for me. I am really intrigued as to where they are going to go with the next step in Warframe's future. So if you're a low veteran, then please excuse me as I fumble my way around in the dark. Now expect spoilers, it is a long video. Feel free to share your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below because I really do enjoy reading them. Now at the end of the quest, when Lotus said she's seen nothing, you can look at this a few different ways. She's either lying, which a lot of you believe she is, which might be the case. She's seen nothing, in fact she's telling the truth. Or she's seen the void. She's seen the cold, empty darkness of the void as Wally tried to come through. So when she said she saw nothing, she literally meant the void. Also in the past, during the Ropodopolist fight, Lotus Ornata has dialogue which says this.
I have seen the wall's other face too. I have heard the voice.
She has seen the wall's other face and heard its voice too. So Lotus has had past interactions with the man in the wall. Now what this means or what this is yet, we just don't know. There is also the idea within elements, I guess, of the Warframe community of this perceived hierarchy with its main factions and of course characters from many gods to angels or sentients, because they kind of see themselves as being angelic, humans and of course devilry as well. The Vitruvian man showing up at the end of the new war has definitely added fuel to that fire, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Albrecht Entrati was where all of this started, right? The one who went before us, the great Orokin scientist, the pioneer of Orokin research. There is statues to him everywhere in the Deimos vaults. The Zariman Tenzir wouldn't have happened without him, and Warframes wouldn't be a thing. But who was he, in case you didn't follow the lore, like me? He was a renowned scientist that became absolutely obsessed with everything about the void. The thoughts that mankind could not outlive the sun's eventual death spurred him on in his research. Mankind, in his eyes, needed a way to travel and explore in order to survive. But when all of his other scientist friends laughed, abandoned and ridiculed him, he eventually succeeded. In his lab, encased in a protective seriglass bell, he stepped into the void. He found himself looking at a bright plane of existence that had dark black stars, a reverse reality. However, as the bell passed between reality and unreality, it shattered, leaving him face down on broken glass on the floor of what he still believed to be his laboratory. But it wasn't. It was a mirrored, broken off segment of his lab drifting within the void. Confused and covered in cuts and in pain, he noticed that he wasn't dead. Then he heard footsteps walking on that shattered seriglass, and as he looked up expecting to see his daughter and I guess imminent failure, he was shocked to see a reflection of himself, an entity basically which looked like him, which called him by a childhood name, Little Bengal. This kind of sounds familiar, right? Like being called kiddo over and over again, spoken to as if you're a child, belittled in a way. This entity, of course, is what we now know as the man in the wall, but confused and scared, Albrecht turned and ran back to the portal's entrance. After jumping through the portal in pain and vomiting on the floor, he realised that he couldn't see or speak, but he could feel the other entity trying to come through. So he picked up the shattered glass and using his own blood, he wrote the words "close it" in reference to the portal, which his daughter happily did. But it closed just as the entity's fingers came through, which chopped them off. These fingers, of course, were then experimented on and became the reliquary drives that we have in-game right now in our Railjacks, that big finger in the bottom of it. But Albrecht finishes off his story by saying he doesn't know if it was him or the entity that escaped the void that day, which sounds weird, right, because he's the one telling the story. But what if he was possessed? What if the indifference, or Wally, or the lidless eye as it's come to known as well, hitched a ride within Albrecht, which some of you are suggesting might have happened with the Lotus at the end of the quest as well. Honestly, we just don't know. DE are feeding us absolute breadcrumbs. He is an Orokin who refused the Kuva. He chose to die and not live on forever in a new body like others of his kind, but Eternalism has now been confirmed within Warframe, which means other Albrechts could be out there. I mean, Eternalism definitely keeps the door open for the game in so many different ways, but I am hoping more of this type of lore is touched on over the next story arc, over the next year or so anyway, within Warframe. Which leads us to some of the crazy theories I'm seeing in the comment section, especially in my last video, Some of them are crazy, some of them sound really plausible, and some of them are definitely grasping at straws. When that wall shows up at the end of the new war quest, it appears as a warped version of Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. Half a head missing, quoting Requiem words, and fingers gone as well. Now, it could just be the man in the wall trolling, or it could have a deeper meaning. So let's look at the Vitruvian Man. Nerdy stuff ahead, so apologies. The Vitruvian Man, for anyone that doesn't know, is an incredibly famous Renaissance drawing by Leonardo da Vinci. To keep it short, this drawing was used to solve the puzzle of having the perfect square inside a circle using the human body's measurements. In short, right, roughly. But apparently it has a deeper meaning which can be based off the idea that the universe has a hierarchy with gods at the top, devils and demons at the bottom, with animals and other life forms in between, and humans being the very anchor or the balance in the middle. However, there is also the idea that mankind can move up or down this chain of hierarchy as they please. We can act like devils or gods by our own behaviours, however you see fit. So when the wall shows up at the end of the quest, Wally appears sitting on top of the Vitruvian wall, while we're on the bottom being protected by Lotus, as she, I guess, either pushes it back, makes a deal, or pretends not to see something. This could be symbolic, or it could be absolutely nothing whatsoever, but Wally placing himself on top of the wall, like a god, while we're at the bottom being protected by a sentient, sentients seeing themselves as kind of angelic creatures, we're a Tenno devil of sorts, which would make Lotus a type of fallen angel, if you will. Again, like I said, it's a bit fucking crazy, but this could just be random or mean absolutely nothing, but it does sound pretty cool all the same. It would cement the idea within some of the community right now that Wally is in fact some kind of void chaos god, and we have been called Tenno devils or void demons on more than one occasion from the second dream onwards, and I am really digging the idea of a god of chaos within Warframe, while other sides of the wall are possibly the representations of other gods. Now, a lot of this is just talking and huge amounts of guesswork and huge amounts of crazy. We really don't know what all of this means, and we won't know until, I guess, more lore drops. And even then, eternalism or futurism gives Digital Extremes a lot of ways to swing the pendulum any way they want. But for the first time in as long as I can remember, I'm really enjoying the story more than, I guess, anything else right now, and guessing at what might lay ahead. Have a great day. Let me know in the comment section below what you think or don't think, and as always, thanks for watching.